Okay, so in this conversation, I'll briefly share two experiences of generosity, one from my own life in United States and one from the life of a friend in Pakistan. So starting with the friend in Pakistan. Now this happened somewhere in the early 90s. A friend of ours, we were classmates, was a senior bank executive at that time. And then at the end of the year, somehow one of his clerks had embezzled a lot of money. And since he was the manager and didn't catch it, he was being held accountable for it. And the bank worked out a deal with him because they knew he wasn't the embezzler, right? That if he could make up the difference by a certain deadline, he will get to keep his job. So that was the deal. So he, not being rich, just a salaried person, he sent out a call to all his friends. This is pre-internet, right? Requesting them for help, for loans or anything else to make up that difference. And all his friends who were very well established contributed and sent him the money. And one of his friends was a barber. He had a tiny little barber shop in a rural part of the country. And he sent him at that time 50,000 rupees, which is a lot of money. Was a lot of money and even is a lot of money for someone who labors for their livelihood. So after this friend of ours was able to pay his debt and keep his job, about 6 months later, he visited his village. He and his barber friend had the same village. And he saw that his shop, someone else was running that shop. And he went in and asked him, where his friend was. And they told him, oh, he is at a shop down the road. So he went there and saw that his friend was working for someone else. He was renting a chair and was employed by someone else. So he went up to him and talked to him and asked him what's going on. How did he end up losing his business? And that's when our banker friend found out that this friend who owned a barber shop had sold his shop to raise the money to send it to his friend. Now here we were, right? All these other rich people, like, who probably sent him a little percentage of their income, their wealth, right? But here was this one friend who had given everything that he owned to his friend in the time of his need, right? Now that is true giving, right? In material sense. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting we should sell everything and give it to someone. Well, we have to live lives where we have to see what our obligations to others are, right? And how to balance the two. But if you want to clearly define what true giving is, it's giving something that is valuable to you, right? That's the idealized form of giving. That's why when you read the Islamic literature, there is a verse of the Quran where the question is, and what should I give? And the answer from God is kulil, of whatever is surplus to your needs, right? But that is the ideal condition. That's why there are other injunctions where you give a certain percentage of your income. So giving, by and large, will depend on what you can sustain, right? But within that, give as much as you can. So that's one example from Pakistan, from a friend's life. The other example is of a different nature. It's not of a material exchange. It's an exchange of kindness. So when I came to United States in 1996, I didn't know anyone. I came to a small Baptist college called Belmont University in Nashville. So I got there, I took a cab from the airport with 3 suitcases and a rucksack and went to the student center. It was evening. And I asked them, I was reporting for duty, and I asked them about my room assignment or something else. And the person in the student center told me that they couldn't help me, but if I went to the Office of Admissions, which was keeping late hours for international students, they should be able to help me. And I asked this person for directions, and he told me, he pointed me to something across campus. So here I was thinking, I have to carry 3 suitcases and a rucksack all across campus to this other office, and suddenly this man, 6 feet tall, right? He looks at me and he's like, I know where it is. Let me help you. And he grabs 2 of the suitcases, just like, they were made of, little thin paper, and asks me to follow him. And there I am carrying 1 briefcase, suitcase, and a rucksack. And he takes me all the way there, takes me to the office, waits for them to tell me where to go, and then helps me take my luggage to my new room. And I was so tired and all, I even forgot to ask his name. But here was this person who didn't know me, was not even responsible for the thing that I needed, but who reached out, saw that I'm new, that I've just gotten there, and chose to help me. Now that is an act of generosity, right? That is an act that says, I don't need to know this person to help this person. I'm capable of doing that, and this person needs my help. All I need to do is ask them, may I help you, right? So later I learned that, he was a senior professor in the Department of Philosophy, and I got to know him. But I will never forget that act of generosity, because that experience gave me a great beginning in my life in America, and I always look back at it, and it encouraged me to pass it on to others. So these are just 2 anecdotal references from 2 different cultures, but the impact is the same. The impact is someone benefits from your actions, and that you give whatever you can. The main question is not how much or how quickly even, but that you decide to be generous to someone else. That's it. Thank you so much, and I hope this is useful to you.